Hello and welcome to Early Childhood Ireland's podcast. Our podcast series features interviews and discussions on all issues relating to quality early learning and care with a range of speakers who are leaders in the areas that matter to Early Childhood Ireland members. I'm Maura Corbett and I work with Early Childhood Ireland. In this episode, I'm delighted to be chatting with Rebecca Kelly from Manor Kilbride Montessori in County Wicklow. So Rebecca owns and runs Manor Kilbride Montessori, which she opened about 9 years ago. And she'll be chatting a little bit more about this in a second. But she began with 16 children in 2012 and now caters for 50 families and has extended the building and so on over those years. So she has an advanced Montessori an advanced diploma, in Montessori primary, an advanced diploma from Queen's University in Special Needs and Inclusive Education, and a first-class honours degree with the Open University in Childhood and Youth Studies, as well as various CPD courses in all kinds of areas. And she's a mammy to 3 girls, aged 7, 4 and 2, and the school is located beside her home. So she's working in the sector for over 12 years. Rebecca, you're really welcome, and it sounds like you're an eternal student. You've covered a lot of ground in your studies over the years.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's lovely to have the opportunity to have a chat and to do this. It's great.
So can you tell us a little bit more about how you started? You mentioned that you're open 9 years and 2 extensions later, you have 50 families. So can you tell us a little bit more about that evolution over the years?
So when I was actually a student, I did my work placement in a local school called Treehouse Montessori, which was run by someone called Jill Reynolds. And we had moved to Kilbride, we were building a house, and down the line I always thought I'd love to have my own Montessori school. I was teaching 2 classes at the time in another setting and also supervisor and on-duty manager for a place that had about 140 children. And we were mid-building and Jill had decided to finish up. She'd done, I think, 16 or 18 years, providing a service to the area. And I thought, now's my opportunity. There was, I think, 13 children at the time in need of ECCE, and there was no other local school. So it kind of put the pressure on to get the building ready and everything. It was quite tight. I remember the night before we opened, my husband and I worked. We didn't go to bed. We worked right through the night trying to get everything finished. But so I started with 16 in the September, and then it went up by 2 each month. And then from the January, I was full. And then I kind of saw the waiting list grow. So we did a smaller extension to have a smaller room at the front. So then I could cater for, I think, 13 in that room and then 22 in the large room. And then the second year in ECCE was introduced, and, the waiting list kind of grew longer again. And I kind of bit the bullet. I think it was about 2 years ago now. And we did another extension. So now we have 2 rooms of 22. And then last summer we created an outdoor space, like another outdoor classroom, which is still, I suppose, developing all of the time because it's a new area. And then we have a larger outdoor area up the back as well. We're kind of on a hill, so it's quite steep. We're built into a bank. So yeah, and it's just grown over the last 9 years. There's myself and 5 other staff.
Wow.
Which I'm so lucky for. I've got great staff, a really great team. And yeah, so we're a team of 6.
Okay, so busy.
Busy, yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've great space to be able to extend and expand.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is great to have it.
Yeah, definitely. Like we did a chicken run there a few years ago, so we have a side gate so the children can kind of go and collect eggs. And I kind of every year try and pick a project of something to do, whether it's building a sound wall, whether it's creating a new outdoor space, or a pirate ship in the play area, or I'm always looking to kind of add, or what can we do to, I suppose, enhance the setting, always looking to improve.
Great. So with that commitment to improving and developing, take us on your partnership with parents journey. Why do you feel partnership with parents is so important?
I've always had, it's always been really important to me to have a strong connection with the families. I think for several reasons, really. One of the main reasons, I think, is that it creates a home from home feeling. So like usually before COVID, we would have had an open door policy. So parents would always come into the building to drop their child, and there's always quite a friendly atmosphere. There's a little bit of a chat. And I think that helps the child to settle as well. And it also helps the parents to feel that if they have an issue or if they have a concern, they can always come and talk to us, that we're very approachable. But not
And
only
I
that,
always feel that you're less likely maybe to have issues if you can have those daily chats anyway.
Definitely.
Don't
It just
escalate.
opens up. Yeah, it opens up that communication and that channel. So like even we have, if you do have a child where you have a concern, which can often happen, for lots of different reasons, I think if you've got a strong connection with the parents, they know you're coming from a place of love, and they know that everything you are doing is for the best of the child and for the child's needs. And I think it makes those difficult conversations so much easier if a child might need a little bit of extra help. And also, when you have parents and we do tend to, and I'll mention it later on, the Special Persons Project, but when you have for example, if we have a child and they mention something like their granny is a post lady or really good at knitting, we'll jump on that and say, would they like to come in and show us? And it just creates that open door, very much team feeling. And also I think it reassures parents that we're not allowing them in. It doesn't make them question what goes on when school is on, when they've dropped. We're very, very open. And they can, before COVID obviously, but parents were always welcome to come in at any time. They're always welcome to share something with us, and we wanted them to come in. We wanted them to see the child's work, to see what was happening in the school. And I think that's something that is really important. And when you have family at the center of linking the school and home together, like whether you're doing fridge magnets with family photographs in the classroom so that they always feel that connection, it strengthens their identity and belonging within the setting, and it's kind of linking home and school together in a community way.
And you mentioned a minute ago about the impact that COVID has had, which has obviously meant that physically, at least, it's harder to do that because of distancing and minimizing or avoiding parents being in the setting. How have you managed that? What impact has that had?
COVID had a huge impact on us in relation to keeping connected with families, because we had to look at how everything that we do and how we could change it to still keep that strong bond. And there's also a level of keeping professional as well, that relationship. But so before COVID, we would have had in the younger class come and read with me. So each child could pick somebody from their family to come in and read a story to the class. And then the older room had the Special Persons Project, where each child could pick somebody to come in. It could be, a granny who wants to show us how to knit, or they could do planting, or a dad who's an electrician, or an auntie who's a nurse, or it could be, we've had ponies and guinea pigs and horses and dogs and all sorts of things. And so we were like, okay, how can we keep that welcome feeling for families when we can't let them inside the building, really? So what we did during lockdown was we started doing daily videos on WhatsApp. I hadn't really used WhatsApp before. I might send out group messages kind of for notifications and things. So we started doing daily videos of either reading a story, doing an art activity, a science experiment, things like that. And then we put bags together. So we put packs together, and the staff all delivered them to the children's doors. We did Zoom calls, and anyone who's done a Zoom call with preschool children, it's really hard and challenging, but we kind of felt we have to keep, and then also it helps us to grow because we're out of our comfort zone. And I know I found the videos very difficult. I couldn't rewatch myself. I kind of, I found it really hard. But it wasn't about me. It was about the kids, and it was about them feeling particularly the group that started in the September, because they didn't get to have, usually we do a private viewing, so every family could come to the school, have a walk around through the school, and then we do an open morning for 2 hours on a Saturday where the families can come and all play together. So instead we had to do that in time slots where it was like a walk through, and then kind of encouraging them to be outside, but at least the child would have seen the building. And then coming into the building, you know, with COVID, we couldn't allow it. So I spray painted stars, and I had a yellow line at the front door, and I did a video of a run through so that the children were kind of getting this sense of, they could see on their parents' phone, okay, this is what the front door looks like. This is what drop off will look like. I'll say bye-bye to mom, or do a fist pump, or whatever routine mom or dad wanted to have with the child at the line. And, you know, I have to say the children settled very well. And I think those videos helped to prepare them because they knew what was coming. One thing that I found hard was I usually do a parents' information night before the school starts. And I feel it's really important because it goes through all of our policies, you know, from your snack to drop off to authorized collectors, all of those type of things. And, you know, I was like, you know, how am I going to get all of this information across? And I think when you email everything, like we were emailing COVID plans that were 50 odd pages long, all of these documents. And, you know, it's very hard for someone as a parent that's really busy to sit and read through reams and reams and reams of paper. So I broke down the parents' information night into WhatsApp videos, and I broke it down into kind of, and I cover maybe 2 to 4 policies per video. And I think I sent 9 WhatsApp videos for the parents so that they could see me just like a 2-3 minute chat of this is how drop off works. And if you want to communicate with us, you know, we both have to wear masks and we have to plan it in advance. And it's been hugely different. Like I've missed doing the special persons project, and we've missed having the kids' pets in, and that sense of, like, even I have a lot of new families this year in September starting who I've never met. And by now I would have seen them, I would have met the child, they would have had a walk through, and you feel this sense of disconnect. So you're kind of always, you know, I keep sending them little videos and things of me and what I look like. And, you know, I'm making videos of the school on iMovie, which is really challenging, you know, because you're trying to use technology all the time. And then we were doing a photograph a day on WhatsApp. So I set up kind of different pod groups. So the parents would get a little photograph of what happened that day. And then I kind of started looking at, you know, okay, technology is becoming more of a part of how we're communicating. And WhatsApp, although all the parents gave permission in advance, you know, the photographs automatically save to your camera roll. And I kind of thought there has to be a safer way of doing this. And before COVID had happened, I had looked at 3 or 4 packages to move to paperless. And then I put it on pause because I felt that, you know, myself and the staff, we had to get our head around COVID. We had to, you know, I had so many new policies to write. We had to implement new procedures. So I just thought I'd pause it for the moment. I didn't want to overload the team either. And now in the last 4 weeks, we're actually implementing child paths at the moment. So we're going paperless, and, you know, the parents have their login and we're figuring out how to use it. You know, our curriculum, everything's going online. Like I estimate that we'll save about 8,000 sheets of paper a year by moving paperless. You know, like, because we're filling in about 25 sheets between daily, you know, you've got your COVID risk assessments, your normal, your temperature controls, all of your paperwork that comes with the role. You know, documenting your curriculum, you're printing a photograph. You know, the staff are documenting what they did that day. They're linking it to Síolta and Alasdair, but then it sits in a folder and the parents aren't getting to see that. Whereas before, I had designed an A3 book and I had it broken down Monday to Friday, linked with Alasdair and Síolta, and the staff, like parents our children would either mark make or we'd print a photograph. But that book was always in the classroom, so parents could come in and flick through the book. And then I found this year, I was looking at the staff and they're doing all this lovely documentation and nobody's seeing it. And, you know, you don't want to do those things just because you might have a DES inspector walk in the door. It's not about that. You're doing that because this is the quality of service that you are. And you want to share all that work, and you want parents to really see, you know, the depths of the child's learning when you did that messy play, or when you observed an act of kindness between two children, or a conversation about, I saw somebody in a wheelchair today, and that sparks a whole other route of learning. And yeah, so the child path so far has been great. It's been a learning curve for me, technology wise, and we all have tablets in the room, but it's been great. We're definitely working more efficiently from a point of view of it doesn't take the same length of time to do certain things. So yeah, it's been really positive, and I'm
Great.
interested to get the parents' feedback. You know, we're at a point where we're starting to communicate more with it. So you know, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be asking parents for feedback, because you know, I think that's really important as well, that you have your comments box, that you welcome, you know, criticism as well as positivity, because that's how we all grow.
Exactly.
You know, at the moment, touch wood, we haven't had any criticism, but, you know, we completely open, and I'm very welcome to it as well, because it's part of developing your service all the time, you know.
So you mentioned, you're absolutely, I mean, the criticism is positive feedback, you know, if it's presented in the right way. You mentioned a couple of times your special persons project that was the submission that you sent in last year for the Early Childhood Ireland partnership with Families Award. Can you take us a little bit through that and what it entailed and how you put it together?
So it was a few years ago when we started doing the Special Persons Project. And we were doing it in our service all the time, you know, and having different family members come in, and it was just brilliant. I mean, you know, we were getting doctors and electricians, and, you know, it was just fantastic. And parents really got involved. They were bringing in more and more things, and it was just growing. And the children really enjoyed it. And it was great for them, for their confidence, and also to practice greeting a visitor into their setting, and then for the child, you know, to introduce, this is, you know, my nana, and she's really good at knitting, and she's going to show us how she knits with her needles, and then we'll have a story together or whatever. And we had a mom in whose little girl has autism, and she was in circle time, and she said to the children, you know, sometimes my daughter doesn't understand. And you know, so this kind of sparked a whole conversation. The children were, you know, like, well, why? And, you know, some mom said, you know, she has something called autism. And one little girl said, I've money in my piggy bank. Could that help? And, you know, afterwards we just thought, you know, that was such a nice gesture. You know, maybe what could we do? As, you know, we were having our staff meeting, and we were like, how can we expand on this? And we kind of came up with the idea of, well, let's ask the children, will we do a little fundraiser and see what ideas they come up with? And then from a staff point of view, I was heavily pregnant at the time, but some of the staff said, like, let's do Run Amok and see if we could put an MKMS team together, and if parents would like to do it with us. So we put it out there. We ended up with a team of 15. And you know, they did the Run Amok together, and, you know, so the children in the school were making signs. There was a big MKMS sign made with jigsaw pieces that the children made, and but then with the other side of it, of what would the children like to do as a fundraiser. So the little girl who had suggested wanting to give money from her piggy bank had started making bracelets at home, and we set up a little bracelet shop. So she was the shopkeeper, and all of the children brought in €2, and we set up a little shop. And we had done things like that before, like we did a fruit and veg stall before, where we set up a full fruit and veg shop, and all of the children ran it. So it was like one child was packing the bags, doing the till, weighing the fruit. So you're bringing in, you know, your pre-math skills and writing the receipts. And it was open to the community. So we had neighbours, we had grandparents, we had aunties and uncles and parents, and it was wonderful. We tried to do something like that every year. And then obviously with COVID, you know, that's, you feel a sense of, there's so many things that the children previous years to us, that because of COVID, these experiences the children are having. So we're constantly trying to look at, okay, what can we do, to give them some sort of an experience where you're still focusing on those key areas of development. But from the parents as partnerships, we just started writing a story about it, and then we started kind of analyzing all of the different things we do that link with home. So like, for example, we have sets of emotion bags that I made, and there's tip cards inside for parents. And so each child would get to bring that bag home. Or we do a story bag. Well, before COVID, we had a story bag where the children could pick. We have our class puppet Ziggy, and the children could pick books from the library that they really liked, and then they'd bring Ziggy home for a sleepover. And then what we'd get the parents to do is send a picture of their child with Ziggy, and then we actually made a storybook in the classroom that we laminated, and it was like the Adventures of Ziggy.
Okay,
and you document what the child had said they did with Ziggy at home that night, and it was great, and it's all those little things that we've kind of said to parents, send us a picture of your pet at home, because we can't do that link. So you're trying to make those books now and keep that connection on some level.
Yeah.
Like another tool we would have used was we do Ashler learning copies. So each child's copy is completely different. It could be something that they've done at the weekend that they want to share with us. It could be something in the classroom that we took a photograph of that they really like. And or they might want to mark make something, and we write exactly how the child says, and it goes home, the parents sign it, and then it comes back in, and parents can add to it as well. So it's like a working document. And at the start of COVID, I thought, we can't have something coming in and out from home all the time. But then I was like, sometimes you have to not be afraid to kind of look at a workaround. So we're like, okay, we're going to have a basket at the door, 2 meters from the door, let the parents put the copies in the basket. We'll use our gloves, bring the basket in, leave it in isolation for 2 or 3 days, and then we can take the copies out. So it's just trying to look at how can you do what you're doing in a safe way.
Yeah.
And like even say for graduation and things like that, move like school tours, what can you do that's purely outside? And we would be outside a lot anyway. And now we've the sheltered area outside. So, the weather doesn't stop us, and that's what waterproof gear is for anyway,
I think it's all about finding the workarounds when you value the partnership. Then there's a benefit to finding the workaround, because it's something that you want to keep the essence of. And who knows, some of the workarounds might become the way we do things in future. And so you submitted this for the award, and then you heard in October that you won the award. What was the impact of winning the award? What was that like?
I remember finishing the submission for the award, and it was so late at night. I was so tired. My youngest was waking a lot in the middle of the night. I felt I still had very much baby brain. And I just, we had won a couple of awards before, and I thought, we'd never be lucky enough to win another. But I like writing the stories. I really like putting together everything we do, because I think even for the staff and the parents, when we come together, you see the volume of things that we do. And some parents love reading about that. And I think it's really nice that you're catering for like parents of all different personalities, just like staff do, just like children do. So, for the parents that really love seeing what's going on and the rich environment you're creating a document that they can read and see. But I genuinely didn't think we'd won. And my staff afterwards said to me, we knew we'd won when we saw the film crew arrive, but I completely didn't expect it. And I was actually really emotional, because one, I completely was shocked, but I just felt, I'm going to get emotional now, but, I am blessed with my team. I have amazing teachers, amazing staff. The children come first at the heart of everything we do at the school. I'm getting emotional now, but and I think that love and passion for what we do and for the children, the award, particularly Parents as Partners, is something that's just so important to us. And I think it just kind of cemented for us that we're doing a great job, and like I always tell my staff, they're great, and you do the little treats to say thank you to them, but I think to have the recognition of the Parents as Partnership Award was just really special. And I think out of all the awards we've won, it is by far, for me, the most special award, because it's just something that I always put a lot of time into. There's a lot of out of hours work I do, whether it's emails, whether it's observations or little videos or photographs. And there's so much, I mean, there's probably about 30 hours a week non-contact time I put into the school. And, that all goes unseen. I don't think people just see, they drop the child at the door or, and it's 3 hours a day. But it's, for us to do what we want to do with the children, it's so much more than that. Like the last month I've been making a fairy garden and digging into a bank on a Saturday and a Sunday, and, with the belly boots on, and, it's all those little things that are unseen, but that just come from the heart because it's a passion, I think this job, it's a calling. It's not, and obviously there's a lot of conversation at the moment about, our sector's in trouble, keeping newly qualified staff. They're leaving college and they're going into jobs, and, the pay isn't great. They can't get mortgages. And, I just think what we do is just so vitally important. These early years are the foundations, they're the cornerstones they're their first blocks of learning to set them up for life. And, I know I'm going off topic, but I really hope, for the future of our sector, that the importance of early years and what we do gets more recognized, because I do have concerns about, the future. I'm so lucky with my staff, but when I see online, some people are really struggling to recruit. And, I hope that Ireland will start to catch up with some of the other countries in Europe, with just, looking after their staff, because our sector of great staff in this country, and you don't want to lose them,
Absolutely. And that's, I think it's that passion is what keeps a lot of people in the sector. And that's a really good point to end on. Rebecca, thanks so much for sharing that. I love, earlier on you mentioned about, the benefit of partnership with parents, showing that you're coming from a place of love. I think that's such a lovely description of the importance of partnership with parents. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your passion. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
So if you'd like to apply for an award, check out the Early Childhood Ireland website for information on applying for the various awards. And thanks for listening to Early Childhood Ireland's podcast. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please tell your friends and colleagues, and we hope you'll join us next time.